All right, now, come on, sit down, sit down. Welcome back. Welcome back. And if you're new here, hello, my name is Carolyn Gray, and I post on Tuesdays and Fridays, typically about fashion content as well as my entrepreneurship journey. And today, we are discussing the major lessons I learned. Have my coffee, get something to drink for yourself, and a little snack too. The major lessons I learned in 2022 as a business owner. Yeah, because there were a lot of lessons. Yes, I'm still wearing a hat. It is, I don't see Lorraine until the 3rd of January, okay? And I got a wig that I need to, it has the lace front, and I'm not good. I don't know how to do the thing, so I'm going to see what, we're going to wear a hat. Anyway, getting down to the nitty gritty. I wrote notes, obviously, because I want to be organized and thought. And there's a lot of lessons. There's a lot of lessons I learned this year, and I'm grateful for all of them. Number one lesson was not planning details a year in advance. Yes, I did not plan a year in advance for anything in my business. I think that I was in survival mode and I was in recovery mode, where I was planning things the week of, or maybe a week in advance. And, I had certain projects going on that were, planned in some way with more amount of time in front of it. But I typically planned everything down to the wire. Content, products, new products, replenishing resources, reaching out to different brands to collaborate with. It was just a lot of reactionary behavior instead of proactive behavior, and not planning things in detail. It's one thing to have goals for your business, but it's another thing to write those steps in place that you think you need to take in order to reach the goals that you have. I've had dreams and goals for my business, but this was the first time towards the end of this year, last month, in November, and then this month, I've been really figuring out every single process to reach the different goals that I have for my business. It is very overwhelming. It is very time consuming. It is very intimidating to do, but I think a year from now, the difference will be much larger in how my business is handled, seen, and how it's doing, because of the crazy intent and planning that I put in for 2023. I have not ever done that in the 3 years of business that I've been open. I used to do a month in advance, and then things just dwindle down to day of, or the week of, or the week before, which isn't healthy. So, number one, proper detailed planning a year in advance, and ensuring that the month prior, everything is done for that month that's coming up. So for everything happening in January, it's been done since last month and this month. Everything in February will be done in January. You get what I mean? Because every detail, prop, shoot list of needs already met the month before. Another thing that I learned the hard way this year was reading the fine print on leases or any type of contract. This year, in August, I was notified on August 5th that my office building that I was renting from was shutting down, and we would need to move by the 25th of that same month, either moving to another building that the landlord owned, or moving into a new property, or just get out and figure it out. And a lot of people that heard about this, that I shared on social media, or just close friends or whatever, they were like, isn't that illegal? Like, they can't just give you not even a month's notice, like a few days notice for you to move. Like, what are you supposed to do? And legally, they were definitely able to do that in the way that they did. There was a very small clause in the contract that said, if in any situation, out of their control, that they need to move people or need people out by a certain amount of time, they cannot be sued, or we cannot, go against it. It is something that we signed up for within our lease. And I completely overlooked it. And if I did read it, I didn't think much of it because I didn't think about a scenario like that coming up where I would have to figure things out really quickly for myself. The funny thing is, I did speak within my own heart with my creator. I believe in God. And, I said, I do want this bigger warehousey space, that I think would be a lot more accessible and I could do a lot more with. And I dream that by next year I can get into this space that I really want. And the funny thing is I was pushed out of where I was in that point, and now my office is in the city because I rolled my lease to another building that the same landlord owns. And the only thing that I didn't do, because I didn't trust them after that, I'm like, if y'all could do this, and this is not the first time at your rodeo shutting down buildings, because that's what they said, that this is our first time experiencing it, but not their first time, like almost like a braggadocious thing. I'm like, don't brag about y'all shutting down buildings left and right and having to move people. They did move me for free. They did keep my lease the same rate in a different amount of space, or in the city from Brooklyn. Those were the perks of the move. But I definitely was like, oh, I don't trust y'all. They don't even have my card on file anymore. I have to make a manual payment every month, because if I want to, I can just jet anytime. That's also a part of the small clauses, but I'm not going to do that. I'll give them advance notice as well, because I just wouldn't want that karma. They'll deal with their own karma. But reading the fine print in certain contracts, especially leasing, so you are not disturbed in the middle of your year trying to figure out how to advance your business when it's already in a little bit of a tough spot as it is. So that was a really jolting experience that I said to myself, you know what? I can't even be mad. I didn't even understand the level of that clause when I read it or sped past it. So don't speed past the small print in your business. Another big lesson was be careful who or how you collab with other people and brands. I think this year, I've worked on a few different small collaborations with other small businesses, and they were really fun ideas that I think a lot of people, our customers and their customers, really connected to the message, the branding behind it. It all made sense. I think that going forward, though, different collaborations that I foresee, I will definitely have, a contract in place that discusses, the amount of work that is ahead of this project, the amount of money that will be put into the project, and making sure that all parties are comfortable with the amount of money that's going into it and what their return on investment would be, along with the amount of time that is to be invested to make sure that the project is followed through with and that it's successful, that all parties are involved equally, and not like a high school or college project where, you got 5 members in the group and 2 of them ain't seen until the last day in this presentation day, and they're part of the presentation. It looks like they were part of the whole thing, and then the teacher gives them an A, and then the whole time the other 3 are looking at them like, y'all wasn't here the whole time. Like, what you didn't even do the bibliography. Okay, why are you even here? But they got an A. And then there's that resentment that is created, and you feel like, you were gypped on something, so just making sure that everything is spelled out for all parties involved, that you understand what's going into the project, what are you expecting to return as far as your money that you invested, how much time you're going to put into it, what's each party responsible for, whether it's marketing, spearheading marketing, if that's their strength, spearheading content creation, spearheading making sure that packaging is all fluid and that everything just makes sense. There's a lot of pieces that go into a collaboration. It should feel fruitful. It should feel like it brings you joy. It should feel like it makes sense. So ensuring that nothing that is opposite of those feelings are involved. You have to make sure that you're super organized, that you say everything at the very top. I suggest that when you are introduced to an idea or someone that you might want to collaborate with as a business owner, write down all the things that you want to get out of the collaboration, whether it's a larger network, whether it's money, whether it's, a better understanding of how to market your brand or business. exposure, whatever it is, and not think that any of those expectations are shallow. Don't be ashamed of what you want out of a project and be upfront about it. Communicating effectively. And when you do those in the forefront of a collaboration, nothing at the tail end will feel dark or negative or any resent, so that is something. Speak about everything that you want up front, write it all down, really divvy up the work and understand what each person is going to commit to and what they actually can commit to. What are their strengths versus what are their weaknesses, and giving them something to do that is based in their weakness. And then you're going to be upset because someone's not pulling through on their part because they don't actually really connect to that part of the plan. That's their weakness. Let everyone thrive in their strength. And if there's certain weaknesses that should be a strength in the group that no one feels connected to, outsource it and make sure that you are evenly contributing to the financial aspect of what you're outsourcing, that everyone agrees on it. Don't pull the trigger when no one said it's a go and you really believe it. Make sure everyone has consent and understanding of their part of that project. So that was a big deal for me this year. Accountants, oh my God. When dealing with the financial aspect, listen, and this is not for everybody. I am not a great financial person. I am very intimidated by anything finance, and I really would like to bust through that personal limitation, mental limitation I've put on myself, right? But finances is so intimidating to me, and anything tax related, oh my God, like I'm just like, oh my God, I break out in hives. But I learned so much about what to do when working with an accountant, what to expect, what to say. Number one thing, if finance is not your strong suit and you feel like sometimes you're on the phone or you're in person talking to your accountant, they're saying things that you're just like, I think I know what they said, but I'm not sure. I feel like I need to look that up or whatever. Have them write a summary of what they're going to do for you or what they need in an email after your conversations. Tell them to note any of these things down and send you an email after. Meeting notes, right? Or note different things that come up in conversation that you have a question mark about in your head, that you're flagged in your head, like, what the hell does that mean? And they're breezing through the conversation. Just note, okay, I don't understand what that means. Let me follow up with them at the end of the call or via email. Get as much as you can in writing. Why I say that is because I had last year an accountant that did several things that in conversation I do not recall ever asking for or ever her saying. And then when it came up as an issue, it was, that's what you asked me to do. I'm very confused. I'm pretty sure I did not note it down in my notebook. I don't remember that conversation. I don't remember asking you for it because I don't even know that term to even ask for. So it's really important to make sure that communication is super clear because accountants speak in their own language and not all of us understand that shit. So you need them to summarize what they're doing, what they said in email right after. And if you have any questions, follow up immediately via email in writing so they understand that if you have any areas of confusion, that it's clarified right away. Even this year, I had an accountant who I thought was going to help me with my taxes from this year and the year before, and he was going to file an extension. When I got the extension, it was my personal extension to file later on in October of this year. What I didn't understand was that my extension for my business taxes could not be filed because it was way past the date of filing the business extension. He didn't explain that to me. So when I realized this, I ended up having to pay a penalty fee of filing my taxes late, my business taxes late, of $1,400. That was my penalty fee of not filing an extension for my business taxes and filing them late. Thank God, at least my personal taxes, that was a filed extension for me, and I didn't get penalized for that. But I had no idea that that was the situation. When I asked, I said, do you have the extension filed for my business taxes? Because I only see my personal. You were too late to file your business extension. Why didn't I know that? Why wasn't that a note in our conversation? Why? You see what I'm saying? And so, and then being on top of them and following through on what they're supposed to do for you after those conversations. I wish you would have told me, let me know by August when you're ready to start filing your taxes for October, because at the end of August or the beginning of September, it was too late for him to squeeze me in to do my taxes. So I have, when it comes to accountants, I'm just like, if they do not give you this energy that they are really passionate about teaching people financial freedom or helping them understand what it is that they do for them, instead of just doing the numbers and turning around and saying, this is what I did for you, this is why I'm charging you this. If they don't give me that energy that they really want to help me understand what I'm doing with my business numbers and how they're helping me through it, I don't want to work with them. Because it's telling me that they don't have patience to clarify their intentions. They don't have the wherewithal or the ability, because maybe they have too many clients, to follow up and ensure that I understand what the hell we just talked about on the phone, because y'all speak a different language. And yes, I'm talking to accountants that are watching this. I cannot connect to someone that doesn't want to actually thoroughly explain that. And I understand a lot of people might have a lot of clients to deal with, but I had someone who had so many clients this year, and I was down to the wire to file my business and personal taxes, and he charged me enough. He charged me a lot to help me out, but he squeezed me in. He took about 4 different hours on phone calls to thoroughly explain to me what he did for me, what he needed from me, questions for my account, all these things. He took his time, and this was a very busy individual. And I was not ignorant to that. But he took the time to express what he was doing for me. And I really appreciate that, because I came out of the situation with less money because I had to pay so much, but not owing as much as I did the year before at all. And understanding what were the next steps, filing an amendment for 2020. And why it'll be easy for me filing an LLC for another corporation that, I have an idea for, or how I do my businesses. Those are the types of accountants that I really want to work with, that can hold me accountable, that can express to me what they're doing and be clear about their communication, and that I know when to contact them to follow up and make sure that things that they need to do for me are done. Accountants, I'm very happy that I found the one that I did at the very end, because baby, oh my gosh. All right, 2 more things. An important lesson I learned as well this year was building out a proper schedule. Being a content creator and helping people build their image and their branding for their businesses or personal brands, and running New R Bud are 3 different businesses, and scheduling each day of the week to focus on those areas is very important to me. So, going forward in the year 2023, there are different weeks that have different focuses. So having a clear understanding of what your schedule is going to be per week, where you're going to be each day of the week, is really important to make sure that all bases are covered when you are living your life. The first week of the month is all New R Bud focus, whether it's building out product, creating content for the brand, ensuring that marketing is completed for the full month as far as email marketing, and when to post, what your captions are. That is the dedication of the first week of each month. Because why? That is my main breadwinner. That is my main business. That is my main brand baby. The second week of each month will be dedicated to creating content for It's Carolyn Gray, whether it be Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all these different platforms. There's a lot to go around, right? So ensuring that week I have space and time to shoot with Shamel, my videographer, to shoot with Troy, my photographer, to build out these concepts a month in advance. But every day of that week, I have to be somewhere doing something for a certain purpose. And, building in those days of the week where maybe Fridays is not as work intensive, and I have some self-care built into that, or Sundays, I'm not posting anything. You know what I mean? So it's like building out your schedule where you have to be somewhere, or you're posting certain things. Everything is written out. And not to do a corny plug, but using my NH Events planners, okay, my desk planner, my daily planner, even my notebook here that I put every single detail into my schedule, because I want to be home, especially during the winter, before dark. So I'm not out in these streets on the trains looking crazy, because people are crazy and desperate out here. Okay, we live in chaotic times, but I want to be home by a certain time, safe in my home and comfortable, and just finishing out detail or relaxing or working out or doing something that is refilling myself. But I'm up early. I'm doing the things. Everything is planned out to a T. I give 15 minutes to an hour to each topic or project, and I keep it rolling. And sometimes not everything on the to-do list gets done, but at least the intent is there. And the following week, I can see what wasn't done, and it picks up and gets done that following week. You know what I mean? So building out a schedule is key. I wasn't that great on it at the first part of this year, but after July, I really started to change my habits, and it made a world of difference on everything that I do. And finally, creating a mood board for your brand, visual and written, is super imperative. I think that I limited myself on a lot of things this year because I didn't visualize the big ideas that Noir Bud could be a part of, that myself as a brand, It's Carolyn Gray, could be a part of. You know, I had the pleasure of working with a few brands this year as a content creator, and I really held back from pitching myself, from putting myself out there, you know, because I'm saying, oh, I don't have as many followers as a lot of these other people do, but there's a lot to go around. There's a lot of opportunity to plug yourself into. And it doesn't have to be for money all the time. You know, it could just be for experience. But I held myself back from that, just even from asking for projects that don't require payment. You know what I mean? So I held back in so many ways. And I think it's because I didn't visualize the reality that I could have. Yes, I've done mood boards and stuff with my friends, but to do one on my own time and really figure out what I see for myself and my business, I made 2 different mood boards, digital mood boards. One for Noir Bud and one for It's Carolyn Gray. And the one for Noir Bud, I have a mood board of what I visualize the brand to look like. I have another mood board where what I visualize collaborations to look like, what brands I want to work with next year, and where they are, what they do, why I want to collaborate with them. And every month I've also had some type of written digital board of concepts of content and ideas that I want to put out for each month for the brand. And the same thing went for It's Carolyn Gray. What I want my brand aesthetic to look like next year, what I want my videos and my still photos and any type of concept. You know, I know that my strengths are in fashion. I am a fashion girl, okay, through and through, always have been, always will. I am a person who really, really loves the concept of therapy and growing and taking accountability in ourselves and having thorough communication with ourselves spiritually and with others. And putting that out in my content is going to be seen a lot more this year. Just having a lot more accountability and wellness. Obviously, I run a wellness CBD brand, you know, so these are my strengths, and I want it to really resonate and come out in my content where people relate to it and they understand it and they learn from it, you know. And it's like, I want people to be believers, but it's like, you'll believe, you'll see, you'll believe, you'll understand. It's no gimmicks over here. This is day to day what I want to share, and not being afraid of looking like, oh, she's trying too hard, or oh my God, these influencers, you know how they are. Like, I don't want to hold back from anything, even if that creates a response out of some people. Obviously, that's not my audience, and that's okay. But making a mood board and visualizing yourself in certain places and spaces and with certain people and relationships and with certain goals met, it is so powerful. And saying the things as you're creating these mood boards is also a very powerful thing. The power of the tongue, the power of your mind, the power of you visualizing where you see yourself in certain times of your life is very important. And I think that I really limited myself in my visual mind so much this year that I refuse with a vengeance to let that happen again, going forward, ever again. I am my own worst enemy. I am my own biggest critic. I am my biggest limiter person, and I refuse. I knocked her ass out before we start this next year. Knock that ass out. And the lessons that I learned this year, while they were rough to experience in the moment, I am very grateful that I had them. Oh my God. I am so grateful. I'm so much tougher and wiser because of them, and I would never exchange it for something else. That I'm sure there's a lot more lessons learned, but those are the ones that gripped me the most to share with you guys. And I really appreciate you subscribing to this channel, tuning in when you can, commenting and communicating with me and giving me your ideas and thoughts and questions, and I want to continue building them. Don't forget to click subscribe, tell your friends, tell me your thoughts, tell me different things that you want to see next year as far as content on this channel is concerned. And what you plan on doing differently next year for yourself and what you're looking forward to. I think that I want you guys to feel really comfortable in having dialogue with me. This is an open book type of situation. I have nothing to hide. I have so much to share. I don't give myself credit for the amount of things that I've experienced in this life, and I'm not going to hide it anymore. And I don't want you guys to hide as my community either. So if you have thoughts, anything, negative or positive, don't hesitate. Write it below. Okay. But I appreciate you riding with me. I know I took a hiatus a little bit this month as well as this summer, and I really am going to try my best not to do that next year. I might take a little break midsummer just to, because sometimes we need to relax and take a little bit of a trip. Or I might batch enough content where we won't have to do that. And we'll be in tune every week. You know what I mean? So I'm so excited for next year. Oh my God. So I love this community. I'm really excited about this space. And I really thank you for taking me in. And I love you guys. Have a happy new year. Oh my God. And just enjoy yourself. Stay safe. And I'll see y'all on Tuesday. Have a blessed day. Thank you for joining me. See y'all later.